What is going on, you guys? It's your girl Diana, back at you with another YouTube video. It looks like we have finally taken a step forward towards getting the Pokemon retro games onto the Nintendo Switch, since just yesterday, Nintendo finally gave us a release date for when we can expect Pokemon Stadium to come to the Nintendo Switch. So let's go ahead and hop into the details. So earlier today, Nintendo tweeted out this statement that says, "This stadium is packed and ready to rock. Witness thrilling battles between Pokemon in Pokemon Stadium coming to the Nintendo Switch for the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack members on 4/12. So literally in just a couple of days. Today is the 4th, so it's only 8 days until we finally get a Pokemon retro game on the Nintendo Switch Online. However, like it says, you do need to have that extra expansion pack in order to have access to this game for free, which is always kind of a bummer, but if you do want to play Pokemon Stadium, you will have to purchase the expansion pack, in addition to your already existing Nintendo Online account. But here on NintendoLife.com, they actually have a little article that breaks down everything that we know so far about what we can expect once this game does hit the Nintendo Online store. Nintendo has announced it will be adding the original Pokemon Stadium to the Switch Nintendo 64 service next week on April 12th. This arena battle title was first released in 2000 and features the original 151 Pokemon from the Pokemon Red version, Pokemon Blue version, and Pokemon Yellow version games. It includes a selection of solo and multiplayer modes, including mini-games. Nintendo has also confirmed the following, which, do you know how excited I am? Pokemon Stadium was actually my first ever Pokemon game that I played because I personally did not grow up with any of the Game Boy consoles, so I didn't have any of the handhelds, but I did have a Nintendo 64. So this game definitely brings back a lot of nostalgia, especially the mini games, because I was so young, those were my favorite parts of the game. My favorites were the Clefairy one, the Licky Tongue with the sushi one, and the Rattata races. But this next statement here has definitely gotten a lot of feathers ruffled, at least from what I've seen on Twitter, and that's because it says, "Please note you cannot transfer Pokemon from the Game Boy titles in this version." So if you were used to bringing your Pokemon from your Game Boy games into Pokemon Stadium, you can't do that with this version of the game. Which, like I said, some people on Twitter are not very happy with this because they said that it basically makes it impossible for you to beat the tournaments. And although I 1000% understand that if you did grow up playing the Game Boy games and using the Pokemon that you had from those games in Pokemon Stadium, that this is definitely a big change. Me personally, like I said, I didn't grow up with the handheld consoles, so I never experienced playing the game with anything but a rental. So I went through this entire game, the tournaments and everything, by using rental teams. Of course, in the year 2000, I was quite literally 5, so regardless of whether I played with my own Pokemon or rental teams, I probably still wouldn't have done very well. So maybe that's why I didn't care at the time that I was using a rental team and not my own Pokemon. But like I said, I can definitely understand why people would be upset at something like this, especially if they are more serious players, or maybe they were able to play these games when they were a little bit older, so they were able to understand the mechanics of the games and the Pokemon and all that, and were able to make teams that would actually help them progress through the tournaments and win. But it looks like we also have a couple of quotes from the official Nintendo PR team about the game. It says, "In Pokemon Stadium, you can battle it out solo with your chosen team of 6 Pokemon across 4 tournaments in the Stadium mode, or run it back against Kanto's elite trainers in the Gym Leader Castle. Winning in either of these modes will secure you a spot for your champion team in Victory Palace, but completing both modes will unlock a final battle challenge with the Ultimate Trainer. Looking for some multiplayer freeform fun? Compete in no-holds-barred battles with friends in the 1v4 player free battle mode, or party it up with a collection of 9 mini-games in the Kids Club. It might be called the Kids Club, but even the seasoned trainers may feel the heat in the Sushi Go-Round Kitchen," which, like I said, that was literally one of my favorites as a kid. It's the Licky Tongue one where you had to like eat the sushis. "Or after reaching new heights in Magikarp Splash." I literally forgot about that until right now. See, I have so many good memories playing these little mini games because they were so fun. And then they give us a couple of screen grabs in case you have forgotten what Pokemon Stadium looks like after all of these years. And then they finish off the article by saying Japan will receive the same game on April 12th, although it's known as Pokemon Stadium 2 in its homeland. It followed the 1998 original, which was exclusive to this region. They also say that the remaining titles in Nintendo's current batch of the Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online games include Mario Party 3, Pokemon Stadium 2, 1080 Snowboarding, and Excite Bike 64. 64, and Japan will be getting Harvest Moon 64 as well. But there you have it. It looks like we are finally getting one of the retro games on the Nintendo Switch. Granted, it is Pokemon Stadium, and people are not too pleased that they won't be able to bring their own Pokemon into the game and will have to use rental teams, but I think it's still a step in the right direction. And maybe down the line, since they do see the backlash that they're getting because people aren't able to use their own Pokemon, maybe they'll add in some kind of update that does allow you to transfer them into the game at a later date. But me personally, I'm actually really excited because, like I said, this was my first Pokemon game ever and I really enjoyed it as a kid, and I never knew anything but the rental team. So I guess in that sense, I do kind of have an advantage over those that feel like they may be missing an entire part of the game that was very imperative to them being successful in the tournaments. I'm sure that now that I'm older though, and I actually know what I'm doing in the games, I'll see it from their perspective too, because I'll be able to see how like unideal the rental teams probably are. Because to be completely honest, I don't really remember much about the rental teams. Most of my memories come from the mini games, but I can definitely see myself getting frustrated if I do end up with a very lackluster rental team. But I would love to hear what your opinions are on us finally getting Pokemon Stadium on the Nintendo Switch down below in the comments. But that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you did, I kindly suggest that you consider subscribing so that I can continue to make content for you guys. And if you're already subscribed and you would like another way to support the channel, feel free to check out the merch store. There is a link down below in the description that takes you to not only my merch store, but also all of my other socials so you can keep up with what I'm doing on a daily basis. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to those of you who have joined the channel as members. I appreciate you all so much. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.